Did you know the nation's largest recorded outbreak of Salmonella was due to pasteurized milk contaminated with antibiotic-resistant Salmonella typhimurium? Occurring between June 1984 and April 1985, this outbreak caused over 200,000 to be sick and 18 deaths. In 2006 alone, there were at least 1,300 people who got sick from pasteurized milk, just in California.
Milk, an important food for the health of the nation. Pasteurized milk, a safe food, trusted by millions of people, and of special importance to children and invalids. Pasteurization is a guarantee of safety.
Milk is one of the most popular ways to nourish the body globally. People use milk to cook and make lots of different foods, and even drink it by itself. It's an amazing source of nutrients and vitamins. The origins of drinking milk can be traced back to the Neolithic Revolution. It occurred in several global locations from as early as 9,000 to 7,000 BC in Mesopotamia to 3,500 to 3,000 BC in the Americas. During this time, humans began to domesticate animals, including cattle, sheep, and goats. This allowed them to have a more reliable source of food, and it also led to the development of dairy products such as milk, cheese, and yogurt. The earliest direct evidence of milk consumption comes from archaeological sites in Britain, where scientists have found traces of milk proteins in the teeth of Neolithic skeletons. This suggests that people in Britain were drinking milk as early as 6,000 years ago. Today, milk is a staple food in many parts of the world. It is a good source of protein, calcium, and other nutrients. However, not everyone can digest pasteurized milk properly, and some people choose not to drink it for ethical reasons. Raw milk is legal in most of Europe. You can find it in vending machines in several European countries. There is still a lot you need to learn about milk. Although first used in the 1890s, pasteurization of milk became widespread in the 1920s. After the discovery of germ theory by Louis Pasteur, a French scientist who developed the process of pasteurization in the 1860s. In 1924, Grade A pasteurization became recommended federal policy. This led to a future of mostly pasteurized milk and dairy products being sold in stores, leaving the raw dairy sellers to have no choice but to either go out of business or face legal repercussions if they do not comply with health standards. Pasteurization is the process of heating food to a specific temperature for a set period of time to kill harmful bacteria. Pasteurization is used to preserve food and make it safe to eat. It can also be used to extend the shelf life of food. There are two main types of pasteurization. The first one is high temperature short time pasteurization, also known as HTST pasteurization. This is the most common type of pasteurization. It involves heating food to 161 degrees Fahrenheit or 71.7 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. The other type of pasteurization is ultra-high temperature pasteurization, also known as UHT pasteurization. This involves heating food to 280 degrees Fahrenheit or 138 degrees Celsius for a few seconds. This pasteurization does not kill all bacteria, but it does kill most of them. Now, to put it into perspective, at this time, the science we had was limited. So when the discovery of bacteria was popularized, it frightened many. Nobody really knew what it was besides that it's associated with sickness and illness. So because of the lack of knowledge, it caused people to not be sure if raw milk was safe or not because it does contain bacteria. So instead of testing each batch of dairy for bad bacteria, they decided it'd be safer to just pasteurize all dairy and treat it all as if it has bad bacteria. The big misconception is that all bacteria are bad, but the truth says otherwise. As a matter of fact, your gut microbiome is home to millions and billions of bacterial organisms, which also play a key role in your body's functions. Raw milk bacteria has been shown to benefit the gut and the body drastically. Raw kefir, which can be made using raw milk, is a popular dairy product that is fermented and full of good bacteria that can benefit anybody tremendously. Now, some people may be wondering about lactose intolerance and milk, and it can be explained simply. Raw, unpasteurized milk actually contains the enzyme lactase, which helps break down lactose, the sugar found in milk. The problem is, when you pasteurize milk, you also denature the enzymes in it, including lactase. So, nowadays, everybody has issues with milk and dairy products because they are drinking milk that is pasteurized with lactose and they don't have the lactase to break down the sugars properly, since the process of pasteurization denatures the enzyme responsible for that.
We tried to give my son the best quality milk we could find, so we actually bought some organic milk. He didn't take two. We even bought some pasteurized sheep milk. It looked like it was triggering allergies, and so we just decided to just stop because I learned that unpasteurized milk doesn't trigger the same lactose issues. When we finally were able to find raw milk and give it to my son, all of a sudden his allergies went away.
So now you know, raw dairy is truly superior in terms of the body being able to digest it easily. Now, not everybody has problems with lactose, and that just depends on an individual's digestion and genetics. Some people can drink pasteurized milk and dairy and be perfectly okay. So knowing this, why should people still have raw dairy if pasteurized dairy is fine for them? Well, as previously mentioned, there are other enzymes in the milk that you can benefit from. Pasteurization also affects the other nutrients in the milk, so raw dairy has a better nutritional content and not to mention beneficial bacteria for the gut. Raw milk is also said to be a lot creamier and tastier than regular milk, and many have agreed with that statement. This video is just one example of how switching from pasteurized milk to raw milk positively impacted someone's health.